emphasis for the running game this year is the running backs and entry points. Because I think back to last year, Terrell Davis was quite outspoken in saying, look, I think the problem with the running game isn't so much the plays being called or the offensive line. It's the actual running backs themselves. And it seems like there's been more of an emphasis on the running backs and these entry points. What does that mean without going too far into the weeds here?
All right, so you take the very first run of the game. Your entry point on wide handoff, 18 handoff, is the inside hip of the tight end. Not where the tight end ends up on his block, but where it starts on the grass. And so as you look at that entry point, if you follow that entry point, RJ Harvey, you've got a backside cutback on that play that is wide open for 5 or 6 yards. Or potentially, if the backside receiver who's in a nasty split, meaning close to the line of scrimmage, if he digs out the safety on that, which is his responsibility, and you cut all the way behind that, you're one-on-one with the corner. And you know what we used to say about running backs with corners? If you can't beat a one-on-one tackle with a corner, then we need a new running back. And so you could have had a breakout on the very first play of the game, and you hit that entry point about 2 yards too wide.
Yeah.
And therefore, you had to stay on that. You didn't the backside cut wasn't afforded to you because you were too wide to see it, and you ended up getting a 2-yard gain. That should have been at least a 7 or 8 yard gain. And that's what I'm talking about on a consistent basis. What Stokley talked about, jumping outside, jumping outside on the one run that he had about a 9-yard gain on, that particular run, like he entered that, it was a duo to the left side was the play, and he came in the opposite side. You could see Bo Nix going, oh, where is he? Handed the ball off. So he missed the essential read. I think he missed, I'm pretty sure, having watched a lot of film, that he took it on the wrong side, the handoff on the wrong side, and then it was just panic. Like he knew, oh, shoot, I screwed this up. And then he bounced to the outside and got a 9-yard gain. And I guarantee you everybody on the sidelines high-fiving him, hey, great run. And meanwhile, Sean Payton's in his ass about, dude, you can't bust that. And so there's a lot of that stuff that just needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and I think we got to remember, too, it's his first live action. Because you're not tackling in practice. It's different. All of a sudden, they didn't tackle in joint practice either. And so sometimes it just takes a little while to get used to the flow of the football game at the NFL level. It's different for everyone. And when you play the running back position, you're a young running back, and all of a sudden you go live, and you haven't gone live, it's a little bit different feeling. And so you gotta. It's like any other position. You just got to get comfortable with it.
But you better figure it out because even
out.
a football viewing, film viewing novice like myself, Stink was showing the play. It's like, oh, if he runs where that play was blocked and called for, it was there.
Well,
there were literally 2 different holes that would have been there if he had just run where he was supposed to run.
He watched it too.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you his coach said the same thing, right? And so now you get to see it on film, where before you're just kind of running through holes and you're not getting tackled, and it's just like 2-hand touch, and it's like, okay, it doesn't really matter. But now you're getting tackled. Things are moving a lot quicker. You make quick decisions, and sometimes you make the wrong ones, and now you get to see it on film, and the coach brings up, hey, you got to trust what you see.
Right.
You got to trust the play. You got to trust your offensive lineman.
It was interesting in our day here in Denver when we were just running the snot out of the ball forever under Mike Shanahan. Like we just get it. Every back that we blocked for had 1,200 yards.
Right,
it was just the way it was. And our coaching staff, Bobby Turner and Gary Kubiak and Brian Periani and Mike Shanahan, used to coach and emphasize the entry point of the running back. Alex Gibbs used to, just on the the rooftop, screaming at people, the entry point, the entry point, the entry point. And it was always the entry point on the grass. Pick that spot on the grass, not where that guy ends up, not how that movement starts, because we're trying to stretch people out so we can get the cutback. And, it's funny, I retire and I get these opportunities to consult with different teams. I really have never talked to anybody as I'm doing this that coaches that up that way. And it's really interesting. So this is a big point of emphasis, and I know they're trying to do that right now. But to Stokes' point, all of a sudden you get in the game and you get anxious, right? And you get excited. And then it's about how fast you hit it and how, are you patient enough to set up your blocks? Can you hit it in the right spot? And do you have that kind of mentality? So it's one of those things, they'll coach the snot out of it. The last couple of days, I guarantee you it's been coached up. You've been hearing about it, and it'll be a big point of emphasis going forward.
Well, then okay, dumb question then. So if you guys did it so successfully and it was actually kind of simple, it was like one cut, go. And you guys are the only ones, or Shanahan and Kubiak were the only ones coaching. What are the other teams coaching? What's their mentality? What's their mindset when it comes to
so if you say,
running backs?
If you say, let's say you pick up, hey, man, we want to be really good at zone, but we've always been a gap team, but we want to be good at wide zone. So what do? You steal the plays from other teams. This is what happens all the time. This is why you have to have an identity. You steal plays for the other team. You say, hey, man, the entry point on zone, because we've heard it talked about, is the inside hip of the tight end. So you're coaching your running back, get the inside hip of the tight end. Well, the tight end all of a sudden moves 2 yards wide because of his block, right? Because that he's blocking the Sam linebacker, and the Sam is stretching it out and trying to hold the point, but you get 2 yards of movement, and the running back hits that 2 yard inside hip of the tight end where he enters. Guess what? He's already 2 yards too wide. Because it's not coached on the grass, it's coached as the inside hip of the tight end because you stole the play. So you don't know the nuance of the play. That's why it's a problem when people game plan their running game. When you just steal plays from other teams, when you say, hey, man, so-and-so is really successful with wide zone, that's going to be our point of emphasis this week. Well, you don't know the nuance of running wide zone. That's why, to me, if you don't have an identity, you're never going to be consistent when it comes to anything you do on the offensive side of the ball. So when you're a coaching staff that says, hey, man, we're going to nose around and find out what works today because we've stole 4 plays that they've had a tough time defending. And it's great when you have, you find a play that they have a tough time defending, but if you've never really coached that play or you don't understand that play, you don't know all the little tricks to the trade. So, it's important to know what you're doing and then to work on it and have that 10,000-hour rule that I've done it 10,000 times, you've defended it 100 times, I'm better than you, I'm going to whip your ass.